run the world's tiniest boutiques with KOLLECTIN.
Welcome to Girl Influence Power Podcast. I'm your host, Nadia Lee, entrepreneur, jewelry designer, CEO, and co-founder of KOLLECTIN, an app that lets you shop influencer and designer labels direct from the source. Thank you for tuning in live on Castbox. This episode is brought to you by KOLLECTIN. Shop the world's tiniest boutiques in partnership with Castbox. Today, my guest is Marcie Simpson, a longtime friend and fellow woman leader. Marcie Simpson is the president and COO of Nycote Laboratories, a leader and trusted manufacturer in the aerospace and chemical industry sector, supplying giants like Boeing, Airbus, and Embraer. As president and COO, I did that again. She led her company to record growth, being the third generation family operator. As one of the few women in aerospace and industrial chemicals, Marcie is committed to bringing the industry together with broader partnerships amongst its members. Last year, Marcie was selected as the first woman president of Aero Chemicals, a dynamic alliance of international industrial chemical specialists for the aerospace industry. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
It's always nice to have a friend at the show.
I know.
It makes it much easier and much more relaxing, but I actually had to do homework on you.
You did?
Yeah, I know.
I'm surprised.
Yeah. So Marcie and I, we go way back to Vistage. We used to be members of the same Vistage group, which is like a CEO advisory board. But anyway, Marcie is not the typical aerospace executive or operator, owner, COO. You wear many hats.
Well, as a small company, we all wear a lot of hats.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, we
all
know
the
that.
employees do.
We all know that. We do everything. We even clean the toilets sometimes.
I haven't done that.
Oh, you haven't done that?
At home, maybe, but not in the office.
Oh, sometimes when it's all plugged up, when I used to be really I had a really small office. Yeah, that was one of the things. Nobody wanted to do it. So, and I didn't.
Then you did it.
You do it, right? You don't have money for a custodian.
Totally.
Anyway, Marcie's not at all stuffy or boring. She's definitely not your typical executive in aerospace. She has lots of passions and she's very involved with her family and friends and passions. So we're going to dive right in because her business is very, very technical, according to my husband, right? But it really is just, I think it's just a very, a little bit intimidating industry because it's aerospace. It's
right.
Chemical industrial sector, right? Because it has to deal with chemicals and it's heavy industry, or how do we call that? And chemical industry?
Chemical industry, yeah.
Anyway, so tell us about Nycote. Who started it and how long have you guys been around?
Well, the products have been around since the 60s. And in the 70s, my grandfather started the office where we are today. So he purchased the formulas and set up shop in North Hollywood.
Oh, nice.
And so my father actually was going to be a fireman. And my grandfather said, well, come work with me for 1 year. Give me 1 year. And if it doesn't work out, because he was the entrepreneur and he was starting 2 companies. If it doesn't work out, you can go back to this career choice. You can go back and be a fireman. But my dad never left.
Oh, that's nice. So it's in him all this time. He just didn't know it.
Yeah.
Firefighting can wait. Sorry.
Right.
And how did you get into it?
Well, so in the beginning, I kind of fell into it. I have always held a job since I was 15.
Right.
And so I've learned from a lot of amazing leaders. But I was pregnant. I was married and pregnant at the time. And I kind of just wanted to be around family. And so I was in between jobs and my dad said, come work with us.
Yeah.
So I hung out in the office and kind of learned the order processing and invoicing.
Right.
And over the years, he really just taught me how to run the company, including production of the proprietary formulas. And from there on, I've done years and years of shipping. I've done every position.
Oh, that's nice. So you know everything. Yeah. But every business owners, if you really want to know the business, you got it. Just get in there and know everything.
You have to.
Yeah, you do.
You really do.
Yeah, my husband and I, we joke like, oh, even if everyone left, like if one day everyone just like left me and we could still operate.
In fact, you just read my mind. I was thinking that I could run the whole company by myself because I have done that before.
Right.
But how important our employees are to us, they're just invaluable.
Yes.
And it's, I tell them that every day.
Right, because you could do everything, but you don't want to do everything.
I need them.
I know. I don't want to live in the office either.
Yeah.
I mean, before I have children, maybe I would like work long hours, but nowadays you can't when you have a family and you have, multiple things you're obligated to. So tell us about what Nycote, like the products, because it took me a while to understand your products because it's so unique. So can you tell us a little bit about your product and why it's so special?
Okay, so basically, Nycote is a nylon polymer. So polymers are all over the place. There's water-based polymers, and you can pick up water-based polymers at Home Depot. But in aerospace, there are industrial coatings, and Nycote is in that realm, and we basically are a nylon, which everybody knows what nylon is.
Right.
There's toothbrushes, there's hosiery, there's all kinds of things made out of nylon these days. But back in the 60s, a couple of chemists were able to basically merge a polymer and a nylon together. And so it's just a really unique formula that nobody else in the world has.
Right, and it's a coating that goes over the plane or certain parts of the plane?
It's certain parts of the plane.
Okay.
We're kind of a niche product.
All right,
and it's just in small parts throughout the whole entire plane. Some exterior, some interior. It just depends on which platform or which manufacturer.
Okay, all right. And then it's to prevent it from corroding or? From
corrosion, wear, tear. You can even coat products that are used around heavy chemicals like the fuel. It's called Skydrol. And then it just protects. It has a really long life and it's flexible.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Now I'm getting more into the sales aspect.
But
stop me now.
Yeah, but that's what is so special because it's a proprietary formula that's only available through Nycote. So if you were building a plane for Boeing and the Nycote is written in the specs, right? Like you have to use to use your product in order to build that plane. Yeah. So that's amazing.
It's fun.
Yeah. So for every plane that you guys are on, there's some Nycote in there.
For the majority of commercial aircraft, yes.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's amazing.
Helping to keep us safe.
Yes. So your father was the first one your grandfather, but your father's really involved in the business, right? So, like when you got in, was it like, did you get any opposition from your mom? Like, what are you doing in the family business? Or they just really wanted you to be in the family business?
Yeah.
So they just tricked you into it.
I know, right? They kind of did. They're like, come work for us. Yeah. So my dad had two companies at the time. He still does. And they were sharing the same building.
Ah, okay.
At this point, they're in two different buildings.
Right.
But he was just really focused on that other
so he wanted you to take one of it out of his hands, someone he trusts.
It was kind of like the one that nobody really cared about. And it was just kind of lingering in the background. But I saw all of the specifications, really historical documents.
Right.
And we still have them today. They're really cool. And they had Nycote written in them, and they were from big aircraft manufacturers. And so I started to just kind of, by looking through our history, started to understand this is a really valuable product. And all the orders that came in every day, nobody was selling it. So why are these orders coming in from all over the world? What are they doing with it? And how are they using it? I just started to kind of dive into what was Nycote all about? And it took a lot of years to figure it out and to research. But we've done it, and we're really growing.
So you saw the potential for the business and to take something that it's existing and grow it, which is actually really hard in a family business.
I figured I might as well. Nobody else was.
That's true. That's really, really true. Because, taking over a family business is actually the most difficult journey. Like if you talk to any family entrepreneurs that are passing down to their family and kids, it's the first thing that they fear is the transitioning will actually fail because it's such a burden on the next generation. Did you feel like there was that burden when you took over, or you just was excited?
So it was more of I was taking a burden off of my dad's shoulders.
Right.
Because he needed a person to take over and run the company at that time. Okay. So when he, years later, moved his other company to a different location, we continued to operate out of that building, and I ran it by myself at that time. Okay,
so it's really kind of your company now because you've taken it under your wings and you just grew it to something your father never envisioned, because this is all about your vision now, right? To grow
it is, yeah. But what's great about my father is that he is just so supportive of my vision over the years, whether it changes or stays the same. He he basically says, go for it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Because you basically just took something in the family and you've become the new entrepreneur and taking it to new heights. So that's nice.
It's just so much fun.
And you have very supportive parents.
Yeah, they are. They're really great.
So you actually don't have a lot of the problems that family businesses have, which is a lot of, just a lot of headaches, because parents will tell you, hey, I don't like the way you're running it because this is how I've been running it forever. But you don't have that issue.
No, but I've heard about those situations.
But do you ever
very grateful.
Do you ever tell your dad what you're saying is not really, correct or pertinent anymore in this business now?
I think we've had those conversations here and there, but he's really aware that he doesn't want to be in that place because his father was like that.
Right.
He was what you're describing. My dad had to basically do what his father wanted him to do.
Right. So that
he
makes
never
sense.
retired.
Oh, that's right. That makes sense now. That's
so
why
he's
you're
very conscientious about just taking a step back and letting the younger generations make decisions.
Wow, you're really lucky.
Yeah, I know.
What about the staff? Do you run into resistance when you come in and it's staff that's been there for a long time, or, how do you go about making changes?
So it was a good transition because, like I said, he moved that other company out of the building. So I was really working by myself in our current location for a number of years. And we had some support staff at the other building. But we only just had one employee come back as we began to grow, and it was fine. I was able to work with him very well, and all of our other employees have since been hired.
Oh, okay, that's great.
And they've been there for a long time.
So it's all your crew now. It is. That's nice. Now, would you pass it to your own kids?
I wouldn't mind passing it to my own kids.
Yeah?
But I want them to do what they want to do.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Would you kind of coerce them into like, hey, come work for me in the summer first?
I already do that.
Oh, really?
My son loves working at Nycote.
Yeah, because that's how you get them in, right? Yeah. Like, hey, you're not doing anything for the summer. Get a part-time job.
He likes to get that paycheck.
Yes. Yeah. That's nice. That's nice. Okay. All right. So, every leader is very different. What do you think is your leadership style in managing your company?
I think I try to be fair with everybody and nurturing, and I try to be honest with them. And sometimes I sugarcoat things because I don't like to be the bearer of bad news. But as women, I think we manage differently. We're not so. For me, I'm not so direct, as I've seen a lot of managers who are male, but
that's how we're more nurturing, and I think we actually do better because it's not as it's not as harsh when we deliver a message. I always feel like men, I don't know if this is maybe some men, I don't want to overgeneralize,
No.
but they just come right up and tell you what it is to your face without thinking how that's going to affect you emotionally.
True. Yeah.
But women, we're always very cautious. Like we think about, okay, if we deliver this message, how is the other person going to feel? We're more empathetic about the emotions that may be involved or how the room is going to feel when we deliver this message.
Right.
So we think a little bit more.
Yeah. So, it's important to have a a lot of positivity and kindness in the workplace.
Right.
So I try to support that.
Yeah. So what kind of culture you built in your company?
We have an amazing culture. Everybody gives 200% every day.
That's nice.
And they all really believe in the values of the company. And, we're committed to delivering a product that's a quality product and being honest about our limitations in order to just be a better company and treat our customers well.
Right. Yeah, that's very true. Okay, we're going to go on a quick break and we'll be right back.
Now you can try before you buy on KOLLECTIN. Introducing Experience, the new way to shop jewelry. Flaunt your style and express your creativity with experience. Get it today, only on KOLLECTIN.
Welcome back. We're here with Marcie Simpson of Nycote Laboratories, locally here in California, in Southern California, in North Hollywood of all places. Yes. Fancy.
Well, we've been there since the 70s.
I know, but now they say North Hollywood is like the no-ho.
No-ho. Yeah, hashtag no-ho.
Right. So anyway, let's talk about your leadership and you being the president and COO of Nycote. Now, are you ever afraid of taking on new projects or a new product line in fear that it may impact your business?
No, I'm not. That's good. I'm a risk taker.
That's good. No, because I think we have to.
Yeah. I'm open to new ideas and taking risks. However, I will admit that I think I do a lot of research and I reach out to advisors, people who I trust.
Right.
To discuss making a move or taking on a new product.
Right.
Before I'd make a move.
Right. Well, that's true because we have to as leaders. Because sometimes it's a lonely position being at the top. So having someone to talk to, it's very important.
Definitely.
Do you read management books?
I really don't.
Me neither.
I find them really boring.
Yeah, me too. I try to do the audiobooks, but even that's hard.
I know. So I end up just going off to another place and going, okay, let's turn on music now while you're like driving, listening to an audiobook.
So how do you like to learn about like new technologies or new things that's out there?
Well, I do a lot of social media.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
true.
Social media has the information you need.
That's true.
And then just being out in the community, in the aerospace community.
That's true. You're big on LinkedIn, right?
I am, because I think that the majority of our community are on there.
Okay. Yeah, because your social media approach is very different for aerospace. Yeah, it's not like you're going to be on Instagram posting pictures of your product.
That's okay.
Yeah, but you can do that personally, but yeah.
I know, and I totally do. I have like the mom Instagram account, and then the LinkedIn account is more professional,
right?
But Twitter's great too for our industry.
Yeah, that's true. So how do you use Twitter, like when you use it for your company?
So we just put the same posts that we put on LinkedIn.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because everyone uses it differently. Like I do troubleshooting on Twitter. So if people have problems with our app or something like that, they can go on Twitter and we'll post like live, like, hey, its app is down for a couple hours or it's having a bug.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's more like a bullhorn, I guess. Yeah. But anyway, that's how we use it, but I know everyone uses it differently.
So, right. We don't have quality issues.
That's true. You better not. Yeah, that's good. Is there problems attracting like new hires or like into a family business? Because you know how people sometimes they'll tell you, oh, family business is all about the owner and their family, and I'll never be able to work my way up to the top because it's always the family at the top. I mean, what's your experience in terms of hiring?
So over the years, we've attracted people who are tired of working for big companies. And they wanted to be a part of a small group of people who work as a team.
Right.
So, I've had a really good experience.
So they don't
hiring
mind,
talent.
right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's like a family, so it's close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just recently we hired somebody who, we sought out a certain personality and, gosh, I don't know if he accepted the offer yet. So.
Well, if you're listening, you better. Marcie, you're a great boss. Yes. So now, is it difficult to be a woman in aerospace and chemical, or do you even feel the difference?
Well, there's definitely a difference for women in aerospace, in the field of space. And I just was at an event yesterday for space. And I'm just going to use this example. There was a young girl who, I believe she has her PhD. She was extremely qualified to be part of this event. And she was pitching her new innovation.
Right.
She was the only woman during the whole entire day.
Really? For the entire pitch day?
Yes.
Wow.
And she was fabulous. She brought a totally different energy to the room.
Right.
And even though lunch was right after,
Right.
and everybody was looking forward to lunch,
Right.
they were just intrigued about what she was presenting because she had a good product,
Right,
but also
right.
because she had a lot of energy and she had something special to tell them.
Right.
And in a different way than all the other presenters had done.
Okay.
So I think that being a woman in aerospace can be a really positive experience.
Right.
Although I have heard some women say they've had some bad experiences.
Right.
I haven't. I think I've been surrounded by a lot of really gracious, supportive men.
Right.
And just had some good experiences.
That's true. I think, and also you're very confident, so you know your stuff. I think that helps, right? Because
I'm not always confident.
well, nobody knows that. At least you put on a confident show. Yeah, because that's important. Because I think the number one thing women do is like we start to question ourselves, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like especially if you're in a room full of men. That's something very easy to do.
Yes, I find myself in a room full of men very often. But I don't think we should view people as gender-based.
Right,
we need to view people as human beings. They have their own insecurities, just like I do.
Right.
And so I go and seek out people who are open. You can tell if somebody's open and willing to talk.
That's true.
And, ask them just human questions,
Right.
personal questions, and then talk about business.
That's true. And you're a big supporter of women in STEM, right? That's kind of like your little passion.
Yeah, I try to be. I always take opportunities to speak to women when I can. And I think it's important for us to give opportunities, especially for young women, to know that they can fill some of those jobs in the future.
That's true. Yeah, because I was actually recently at an economic forum. It was kind of boring, but it was at it was like I don't know, Long Beach area economic forum, but they actually had a little side panel about aerospace and pitching about not just aerospace, about all the space programs that's happening right now.
There's a lot.
Yeah, and there was actually like one professor, she was a woman, and I was like, wow, and she was dressed really nice, and she was young, and she's got her PhD, and and I'm like, wow, that's awesome.
It's really cool because you do see a lot of women who are proud about being feminine,
right?
And they like makeup, and they like to do their hair, and they're in STEM positions,
right?
And
exactly.
They are leaders in at JPL and SpaceX, and
that's amazing.
That's why it's fun to be out there in this community and just talking to people and getting to know.
Right. Do you want your kids to be in STEM or?
Oh, well, I would love that. They sure hear a lot about it. But I think my daughter wants to be a therapist.
Oh, okay. Then they might change their mind when they grow older. You never know. They're still young.
Yeah.
My daughter wants to be a dolphin trainer.
Oh, how cute.
Yeah, but she's been very persistent since she's 2. So,
okay. Well, then she's definitely going for it.
Anyway, is there any female role model that you look up to when you're growing up?
Well, I think my mom was a very good role model. She was always very strong and caring and loving. And you know what? She worked hard. She was a stay-at-home mom, which I believe is the hardest job.
Actually, I agree with you.
So she did a great job with all 3 girls.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of drama? A lot of drama. 3 girls. Wow, that is a lot of drama. I thought 1 girl was a lot of drama.
No, with 3, there's a lot.
Oh, that's true. Actually, being a mom is really tough.
I think so, yeah.
And then you're a mom and also an executive. So how do you balance that, like your normal work day?
I think it's not always easy. You have to make choices, and I don't often go to the baseball games. My husband does, but it's okay because I think it's really important for kids to see their mother working and being successful and balancing life.
Right. But you try to make to some of the events that are important.
Oh no, I do kid stuff all day long.
Yeah.
It's not like a stay-at-home mom where you can be at every event.
Game. Right. You pick and choose. No, I agree with you.
Pick and choose.
Yeah, because you have to have a partner who can help you out with that.
Yeah.
Whether it's a good, good husband or a good nanny, which is really important, especially nannies.
Yeah.
When you have
Shout out
children.
for your nanny,
yes.
Nadia.
I know. Oh, it's tough. Anyway, do you guys talk about work between you and your husband at dinner tables, or
Well, not typically, because my husband's an attorney,
right.
And so he does something completely different. But he does do my documents sometimes, and so then he'll ask a lot of questions, and we'll talk about it.
Okay.
But at the dinner table, not really.
No, you won't bounce off any stress or problems at work with him?
No, not really.
No?
We just talk about the kids.
Okay, that's good. Well, that's nice. Now, for all the people out there, just a little recap. Nycote makes some of the coolest, I guess cool in my sense because I couldn't really understand it, but it's like coatings for the aerospace industry. And it's something that's been in the family that's proprietary for many generations. And now you have a new, as president, you have new products that you've created that you can call your own. So tell us about that.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. So a few years ago, we identified that some of the chemicals in our legacy products really should be updated.
Okay.
Because they'd been created in the 60s.
Oh, okay.
And, most people out there these days know what VOCs are because you hear about that when you go to buy paint.
Right.
So if you're going to buy paint for your house, you would say, I want one with no VOCs.
Right.
So industrial coatings have VOCs. So one of our goals was to lower the VOCs.
Oh, okay.
To make it more user-friendly for
Right.
people who are putting it on aircraft.
Right.
So it turns out it was a lot harder to reformulate.
Oh, really?
Versus just going and creating a new product.
Okay.
But I kept pushing and kept pushing because I
Right.
knew we needed to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
We needed to have a future for this technology
Right.
and for this company.
Right.
So it took a number of years, but now we do have it.
Oh,
and
wow.
It's
Congrats.
been in testing for the last year and a half, and it's wonderful. I'm really proud of it.
So is it just for aerospace, or can you do it for other commercial use?
It's for all different industries.
Oh, nice.
Industrial.
Yeah. Oh, so you're going to go venture out of aerospace into all other applications. That's exciting.
Yeah, we have an application being tested in oil and gas. And gosh, what else? The auto industry.
Right. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. You're going to be expanding everywhere.
Well, I'd like to.
It's not going to be a small business. It's going to be a huge business. That's where we all want our business to go. Yeah.
Well, it's just fun to keep going and growing.
Right. Now, do you feel like there's like a legacy issue that you have to upkeep, even though you're creating new products, updating the company, and going the direction that you want to go? What's your take on that?
So it's an interesting question because our products are part of the legacy, and those products need to be respected and cared for because they're written into specifications.
Right.
And like we said earlier, they're used on almost every commercial aircraft. And so they help to keep the plane safe.
Right.
So we need to continue making those and make sure that the chemicals are available to create those formulas.
Right. Yeah, because it's kind of like updating the product for the times too as well, right? Yeah. Like in the jewelry business, I can only relate in the jewelry business because I'm from that. But actually Swarovski, because crystals have lead. But, now we have all this like non-lead or, like lead legislation here in California.
Definitely.
So Swarovski actually went in and tried to make a crystal that doesn't have lead. And they actually have the only, I think, lead-free crystal around.
Oh, cool.
Which is really interesting. I mean, I've never used it, but, because I don't think, not a lot of people know about it because it's I think new products need a lot of promotion and marketing.
Definitely.
Yeah. So how do you think you're going to do that, like in terms of marketing and promoting it?
We've never put out a new product before.
Wow, that's going to be a huge challenge.
It is, and it has been. But we've had a lot of great feedback, and so we just keep. I was telling you earlier, we are traveling a lot more this year because we are trying to get the word out that we do have a new product.
Right. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Congrats.
But if you have any other advice, I'll take it.
I don't know. Like we're always just figuring out because as business owners, you're just every day there's always something new and something you have to try.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm actually all into like social media nowadays. So
well, that's what we've been doing is putting it out on social media.
Right. Yeah, on social media, on podcast, on videos. And I've noticed that videos is a big thing now too.
Yeah, we're doing that next week.
Good.
I'm excited about it.
And you should probably go out and talk a little bit more about it too. Like, go out to all those very intelligent conferences that you go to help get the word out.
It's true. Yeah.
All right. So let's kind of jump back a little bit to just kind of women and women in business and women being mom and being in business. So what do you think are some of the myths people have about women in business who are also moms? That really isn't true. Like,
Well, what do you think one of them is?
Well, I think people think that we just neglect our kids.
I hope not.
Right?
But, yeah. Well, so I once read how, and I can't remember what the percentage or what the data was on it, but how important it was for young kids to see their moms working.
Right.
And what an impact that made on them as professionals as they grew up.
Right.
And that really connected with me because I think when my kids were younger, I might have believed something like that if I heard somebody. Or sometimes with women, it's more of like a look that they give you, like, oh, you have to go to work.
Right.
But here's the thing is that I learned really early on as a mother. I think all women need to make that choice whether they're going to stay home and take care of their children or go back to work.
Right.
If they can make that choice.
Right.
Because I don't think it's just one answer for everybody.
That's true. Yeah, because you gotta kind of find the way that works for you. That makes that. I mean, how do you do your work balance? Do you do like Saturdays with the kids, or like do you have a certain kind of a formula that you use?
Well, so I drive my son to school every morning, and I really enjoy that time with him.
Right.
And then if I need to leave the office for a play, which I did this week, I left the office and went to his play. And then our office opens up very early because we're in California and the time difference with our European friends. So we open up at 6:30 and we close at 4.
Oh, that's nice.
So I don't stay late.
That's nice.
I'll go home. I make dinner every night. And, if I need to work, I will.
You make dinner too?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I cook all the time.
You enjoy cooking?
I do.
Wow,
Yeah.
amazing. I was like, I enjoy cooking, but I don't get to cook. But you're right.
It's
That's nice.
It's calming.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Now I try to do it on a Sunday, but it's hard.
There you go.
Then how late do you stay up then?
Oh, gosh. I go to bed like at 8:30.
Oh, okay. So not very late.
I wake up very early.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess we have a very early start.
Yeah.
I see. All right, that's good. Now, if you're going to give some advice to some women out there who are also, pondering about balancing work and life or going out there to be a working mother, what advice would you give them?
To just go for it. Because if you have a career and you're waiting to have children, you're never going to be ready.
Right. That's
but,
true.
If you want to have children, then do it. If you want to have a career, do that too.
Right. That's true.
As women, I'm thinking about all these women that I've known over the years that I had a friend who was pregnant and about to give birth while she was taking the bar.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And I think it's important to use those women as examples that we can really do anything we want.
That's true. We endure a lot of pain.
If you set your mind to it, just go for it.
That's true. That's true. I think women just can juggle a lot more things, and we're more tolerant of pain and suffering. I've learned that recently.
I agree, but don't tell my husband.
Yep. Any advice that you would give yourself in terms of do-overs or, could have done better or anything like that?
Yeah. I wish I would have went to engineering school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you're fine arts.
I have a fine arts degree. I do. But I think that I grew up in a time where, even though my parents were very supportive,
right,
I don't remember receiving a lot of messages of go to university, be an engineer, here's jobs in STEM. That wasn't really talked about in my family.
I think not at all. I think maybe even discouraged, right, for women?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it was unsaid, but nobody talked about it.
Right.
So I just, kind of went to college and kept pushing through. It took me a little longer than most people, but, I never gave up. That's the important part.
That's true. That's right. That's very important, actually, because I think if you want to be a business owner, you can't ever give up.
No.
Yeah.
When you run into roadblocks, you can't give up.
Because there's always roadblocks.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you'll be bored if there isn't roadblocks.
Right. And I think giving yourself the freedom to make changes and go in a different direction is okay.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
You've done that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is the second big project or company that I'm working on. Oh,
you've done a great job with that.
Oh, that's a big headache. I'm doing a podcast now, too. All right. Thank you, Marcie.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's so nice to get to hear more about you as, as more of as a leader, as the person you are, because sometimes when you sit behind a company as the leader of the company, you just imagine this personality that's very, far away or very distant, and hard to be able to connect and relate with you. And I think the great thing about Marcie is so easy to chat up and then just have a conversation with you. Thank you, Marcie, for joining us today and sharing your amazing stories. You're an inspiration for women starting out, especially in the world of aerospace, industrial chemicals, and family business, which is also very, very hard. So for all of you out there who haven't followed Marcie, you could on Instagram, but it's actually her personal account. So I'll probably share it if she wants to share it. But other than that, you can follow her company, Nycote, on LinkedIn, and wherever in social media is available, also on Twitter. And if you enjoy our podcast today, please subscribe to our podcast and check out our videos on our website, girlinfluencepower.com, or on Collectin's YouTube channel. There you have it, Marcie Simpson.
Thank you, Nadia.
It was fun.
Yeah, I liked it.
All right, your first podcast. All right, many more. All right, thank you for tuning in live today at Girl Influence Power, brought to you in partnership with Collectin and Castbox.